Hello, this is Eric Colburn from ericcolburn.com, the professional land surveyor source. And in this AutoCAD Civil 3D 2011 for land surveyors, we'll be going over survey database point groups. Now, in actuality, it is just survey point groups, but I want to make the distinction between the normal drawing point groups and, in this case, the survey point groups that you'll find in your survey database. So you'll see on the screen I have a drawing of a subdivision with a few hundred survey points, and all these points are in the survey database, which I've called survey database point groups. And this is a methodology that you can use to help filter points that you put in drawings from your survey database. So in other words, not all the points in your survey database do you want to have or should you have in every drawing. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the points. I had them on just so you could see all the points are in it, and I am going to remove them from the drawing. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Survey Point Groups, right click and select New. And in this case, I'm going to be selecting from my description key codes points that I know relate to a boundary monuments found. So I'm just going to call this boundary points for an example. I'm not going to fill in the description, but you can. And I'm just going to click OK for a minute, just so you can see that that it filled in underneath the survey point groups. It populated this one and only point group that we have called boundary points. But keep in mind that you can certainly, after I show you how to do this, you can create a boundary. You can create a point group for topographic points, buildings, what have you, and this will allow you to easily filter by inserting into the drawing and removing from drawings all in one click all those points that have to do with that survey point group in your survey database. So anyways, I'm going to go back to my boundary point survey point group that I created, and all the points that are in this database show up in as available to add, and basically all you do, and I'm just going to pick point number 20, which is GBF for granite bound found, and you simply click yes that you want to add that into this point group, and when you pick as many as you want, click OK, and those points will now be populated in the boundary points survey point group. And if you have hundreds of points like in this drawing, it can become quite tedious to try to filter down and find all the correct points and then select yes to add them in. So it's not the most elegant solution, but it does work, and I'll give you a few pointers on how to speed that up. For me, knowing the description keys that I want, or I suppose you could also create different points by elevation too, which isn't a bad idea. Might use that. I've never done that myself, but I know I'm going to filter everything by description keys, so I'm going to click on descriptions and organize all the points alphabetically by the description key. So now that the points have reorganized alphabetically by description key, I've scrolled down and I'm just going to show you a few, putting in one set of points, but you can certainly add all the points that you want. But again, I had selected point number 20, which was GBF or granite bound found. And by organizing it alphabetically, you can see all my point codes like that are now in a row, which makes it easy to select. So just a quick tip, you can certainly go through and just individually click the ones that you want, but that can be a little labor intensive. So I said, why can't I select the first one, shift, scroll down to all the ones that I want to collect, and then select them. Well, it doesn't work. You'll see it only picks the first one that you chose. So by accident, I did the same thing, and if you shift all the way down, and you can't see what I'm doing, but my finger is still holding down the shift key. I have not removed from the keyboard my finger on the shift key, and then select yes, and you'll see that all those points get selected at one time, which can help speed it up. And you can, I'm just showing you this one part of the screen, but you can scroll down while you're holding shift until you get to the points that you want. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to bore you with the details of me selecting anymore, but I'm going to go through this list and select a bunch of existing monuments for my boundary points, and then we'll pick up from there and put them in the drawing. Okay, so I went through and I selected the points that I want to be in my boundary points survey point group, and you can see those are populated now on the preview. And I'm just going to right click on that boundary point survey point group, scroll down to points, insert into drawing, and you can see that just those points have been brought into the drawing. So again, this is a nice way. It's a little inelegant the way you select the points. That could use some improvements certainly, but this is a good way for you to go through your survey database points and group them into categories that make sense for you in your drawings. And then when you go to create drawings, you can just bring in and take out the points as you need them without having a drawing that's full of a bunch of points that really may not be pertinent to what that drawing is about. So it's a good way of organizing your survey database points and being able to en masse bring them in and out of drawings. This has been AutoCAD Civil 3D 2011 for Land Surveyors, Survey Database Point Groups.